that those that their corpses were kidnapped. There's a case of a former road safety commander who was his corpse was going to be buried in his hometown in Benue, but his corpse was kidnapped, and the people were kidnapped with his corpse, and now they're asking ransom for dead body for 450 million. That dead body should be rescued. The barbarity is so much that people are not kidnapping dead bodies. So the living is not safe. Even the dead too is not safe. And why do we see all of these things? Because there's a lack of accountability in our system. The number to ring us up on this morning is 0818-099-1991. For our country to move beyond all of this lack of accountability, we must shun ethnicism and tribalism. There's an article going around that somebody posted, that I also posted, about the fine general whose commanded the rescue of the Oyo kids. And because the article stated the man is from Anambra State, some people got upset. So should we say, because some people want to be tribal bigots, we should not state the places where people are from? The truth is so hard for people to hear. Because a man is from the north or south does not make him any less Nigerian. He cannot deny where he's from to be able to please other people. Just like what happened last week, how people also brought in tribalism for the fact that students from eastern part of the country and many parts of the country did well in the Olympiad, and they represented Nigeria well. But except we start to see beyond those prisms, we can never tell ourselves the truth. We'll always live in a society that is divided and where the truth is far, and there's a lack of accountability. So part of the lack of accountability we are talking about is that if an airport authority, assuming without considering, cleared somebody and said, okay, you can take your car and go, despite the claim of an infraction, why is it that days later the person talks about the incident, then you bring out CCTV and say the person must pay for that action you have said he should go for? Everything has so much is centered around petty politics. But you see, what a lot of people don't know is that these advocates for these people, the truth has to be said. You can never be more successful than the politicians that are manipulating you. And your life can never be better than the politicians that are manipulating you and using you to hit your head against each other. So the earlier you understand the truth, the better it is for you. As we speak today, a lot of people that kept on saying, oh, it's the turn of my tribe. You will now see that it's about business interests. The people that say it's the turn of my tribe, their tribe are not even benefiting as much as foreigners are benefiting in Nigeria as we speak today. So when you keep peddling the tribe narrative, you will see that it is foreigners that are even benefiting the most because of their own proximity to power. And it is the proximity to power that makes them, not the fact that their tribe is there. So when you use tribalism to determine who becomes leader, you have failed. It should be competence. Whoever you're going to vote for, it should be the level of competence. Yes, we've had conversations about zoning in the past, which we have set a precedence for, which is not supposed to be. But it should be a level of confidence. And maybe when we grow to that level, we should also ask questions. Today, because of lack of accountability, we do not see interesting and stimulating debates take over our space. What we see is ignoble debates, debate based on tribalism. You want to call us up 0818-099-1991. Debate based on tribalism, debate based on ethnic bigotry. And if you have that, there is no way the society can move further. So accountability demands saying it the whole truth and letting your standards ring across board. I'll take a lot more calls today on the show. Hello, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing well. And you?
Bless you, yeah.
Yeah, my name is from Okio.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, Rufai. What's important and then what is about presentation as usual, as I've always done. So for me, the issue today, I want to talk about some two issues. First, on the issue of the ethnicity issue in this country. Until Nigerians fight this thing, this issue will not go because this issue of ethnicity play card is to beneficiary of these politicians because that is the only card they can play to really take people and get what they want to get to the power. So until Nigerians are really ready and then you start to pay your voice that everybody must speak to a certain issues, no matter whose point is involved. So we must be able to talk the truth. But for me, the bigger issue is just the issue of poverty because of people too, because they need to benefit from this politician because of this cost they have got from it. So it's fair to say the truth. And the worst part of it is that in a situation like this, the elders in the country, where are they? When all these things are happening, these elders should just get moved. So and then when you have a set whereby the elders just get moved when they are supposed to speak, is a serious danger to that nation on itself. It is on the close of the corrupt system happening in the system. Can you imagine the scam in the agency and the way they go about it, and then the way the whole thing is going? They just admit to silence it.
No, they've already silenced that one. Like I said, once the government that has first defended the chief of staff has said the case will go to ICPC, nothing will come out of it.
Online,
Nothing will come out of it. Forget it.
So, for me, Nigerians themselves will need to wake up because if we say to do it, just like my father told me, I don't know how to define it now. Then my father told me this thing more than 30 years ago. He said, I think I will know what said one thing. I need you to confirm this for me. It is true that it is the citizens that will end up fighting for themselves. I don't know how to do that. My father told me this thing 30 years ago. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So, like I keep saying, it is not tribalism that makes a country. In fact, it destroys a country. And people that do tribalism, in the end, those that benefit from the same government that they say, oh, it's for my tribe. It's not, I mean, look at it, for instance. Shaguri Gold Company has been awarded $14.7 billion worth of contracts. 13 billion awarded for Coastal Road, 1 billion for 45-year concessions for construction of Snake Island Terminal Ports, $700 million for Apapa Ports. So 14.7 billion, about just 3 billion try of $15 billion. Is this person from any tribal group in this country? No. So at that level, it's about interests, partnerships. And by the way, these mega contracts have sparked public debate, legal pushback, OCCRP investigations. Critics have continually cited the lack of competitive bidding. So Is it about tribe? No, it's not about tribe. Because at that level, when you do tribalism, at that level, they don't think of tribalism. They think of interest. They think of business partnerships. Is that it from a tribal group in Nigeria? Is that person benefiting from a tribal group in Nigeria? No. And let me tell you something. For all of those politicians that are acting as saints today, when they enter, they too will do worse. And that's why my role is to hold politicians accountable. They can talk to you and say they are saints today. They too, they will have their own people. The only reason why we are focusing on President Tinubu is because he's the leader today. If he's no longer the leader, don't focus on him. We focus on general accountability. What I keep building is a society where whoever is leader will hold the person accountable. And nobody hates President Tinubu. He's the leader today, will hold him accountable. Just like I did the same for President Buhari. Just like I did the same for President Buhari. Just like I did the same for Goodluck Jonathan. Just like I've done the same for every government. Accountability should be the order of the day. So if you think it's about your tribesman, forget it. Even when your tribesman gets in there, he will have his own cronies. But how can we build a system where we can hold him accountable? See, as long as they're human beings, they want to do favoritism. Don't get it twisted. But the question is, how can we build a system where you can hold this person to a level of accountability? That's all that matters. And the people will be able to stand by it. Till today, we are still asking, if the government says, oh, the World Bank was wrong, we didn't have any shadowing contracts and everything, good. Can they give us the line-by-line item of 8.8 trillion? It's just accountability. Because this will also teach us how government is being run and bolster arguments. So those are the conversations on accountability. 0818-099-1991. 0818-099-1991. We're going to take a couple of calls before we play the second version, which you can watch on VOP 90.3 FM. My different pages will not be carrying the second part of the program. That will be on VOP 90.3 FM. It's going to be an exclusive interview with Dele Momodu. So you can watch that. That's after we take all the calls. 0818-099-1991. And that's why I keep sounding this note of accountability all the time. Because I want to build in us a system where we can ask questions and not be afraid to ask questions. Hello, how are you?
Hello, good morning.
Morning, what's your name?
My name is Lamo.
Can you speak up, please?
Yeah, my name is Lamo.
Where are you calling from?
I'm from Lagos. Yeah.
Good, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to talk about the contract you said they have awarded to Shagori family. My brother, do you think that there's no Nigerian people that will benefit from that heavy contract? Do you think Nigerians are not going to benefit with their share from the contract? I want to say something. Hello?
What? What's that?
So do you think that Nigerians are not going to benefit from that heavy contract awarded to Shagori?
The question is not about Nigerians benefiting. The question is, was there a competitive bidding process for the contract to be awarded in the first place?
Okay. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, we are not saying people can get contracts, but the question is, was there a competitive bidding process? I think that's the most important question. Was it competitive? Was it fair? Will people are able to get their way out? I think these are the questions. These are the questions. Hello.
Hello?
Great to have you. Great to have you.
Yeah. 08180991991.
Go ahead, sir.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'm speaking from Kojo in Lagos.
Please turn up the volume of your radio, sir. Turn it up.
Okay. Okay, I'll do just that.
Yeah.
All right. Let's tell ourselves some very bitter truth. For as long as we continue to lack the courage to ask not just the people in government, but everybody in Nigeria to be accountable for what they possess and what they own or what they have, to be able to convince us that they actually work for this thing and they merit what we can see on ground as belonging to them, Nigeria will get nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Then coming to the question of proper accountability and then bidding. You see, the bitter truth about that is this. If you subject everybody to fair bidding, no Nigerian contractor will get any contract. Because most of the things that we ask them to present, the average Nigerian contractor does not have it. They will ask them for equipment. They will ask them for capital. They will ask them for this thing. Most of these foreign contractors already have it on ground. So that means where is the profit of any Nigerian getting any of these contracts? Until we are courageous enough to say, just like Buhari in his first term, not as a civilian government, said that, look, I am ready to help local contractors to have a level playing field. But if you fail, you are going to jail straight away. Don't forget, when the Israelis raided Entebbe, they succeeded because the contractor who built that airport was a foreign contractor, and they were able to get there to get all this architectural and structural detail for them to be able to penetrate. We must do something to make sure that the roads we build, the bridges we build, we have the engineers and the architects to be able to construct them. For as long as you continue to depend on people coming from outside to help you build your country, you are sleeping on a keg of gunpowder.
Okay,
we must do something to make sure that we encourage our own people. We must eat what we produce and not what we import.
Thank you.
Even our armaments, we must now begin to see what we can do to develop our own military hardware. That's my humble contribution.
Thank you. 0818 099 1991. I'll still take some more calls. 0818 099 1991. 0818 099 1991. 0818 099 1991. Hello, how are you? Morning, great to have you. Hello. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. 0818 099 1991. So until we get a point where there is basic accountability, and accountability should be cut across all. I mean, the president's wife recently gave some advice that, oh, all these Nigerian celebrities, they should only buy Ferraris alone and all of that. But we should also remind her that she has a convoy, right? Accountability too is cutting that convoy at a time where things are rough for Nigerians. Hello, how are you?
Hello.
Great to have you.
Hello, good morning. My name is Mr. Adaisi from
Mr. Dicey, go ahead. Yeah.
contract this government, they are nothing to write home about. How can he give that kind of contract to your friend, that kind of huge contract to your friend, without any competition from anybody? No competitors, nothing from anybody. And that contract does not go to normal accountability. Does not go through the normal budget. The budget has not been passed before you award the contract. Which kind of government? What kind of government is that? Which government does that? You know, you can't use fraud, fake. You can't use fake to receive blessing. It's not possible. Hello, sir.
I'm with you.
You cannot use fake things, fake result, fake certificate to rule the people well. It's not possible. You can't say, oh, if you do, oh, if you woke up before. This government, they are so, they deceive us. They like propaganda, they lie too much. You are buying yard, you are buying yacht, you are doing everything to your own family. But you are asking us to go and sell akara. What kind of government is there? What did they do with 8.8 trillion naira? Do you know how that one will go? If you spend it on Nigerian sector, 8.8 trillion naira. Do you know how it goes? My brother, we have a long way to go. Unless we Nigerians will come out a man and protest against this government, that is when things will come to normal. But for now, nobody is ready to go out. If you think they are going to do election and you put this man out.
Okay. Okay. Public accountability. That's just my own. Talking on the radio is part of public accountability. Hello, how are you? Hello? Morning, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Chukwulobe Onga. I'm calling from the United States.
Good. Turn off your volume of your radio set, please. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was really commend you, Rufai. You are doing a great job for Nigeria.
God be praised.
You are wonderful, friend, my brother.
God be praised.
Thank you. One of my biggest questions is this money that is not accounted, this money that we cannot account, that this government cannot account for. We're talking about how many trillion? I think about $6 or $7 billion. What is this money? What are we doing? Where is this money?
No. We've kept on. I think Atiku Abubakar raised it, and I also have been advocating that the government minister of finance has reacted and said some of them were statutory transfers. They were projects that they've been doing before. They should print out all the projects that culminated in that $7 billion or 8.8 trillion, so that let's even see for ourselves what was going on. So they should print out all the line by line item of the project that culminates in that $7 billion. That's about 2% of our GDP. Hello? Yeah, I can hear you.
So because it's a lot of money you're talking about. And the matter of fact, I don't understand what is going on back home. I don't understand. What is the president talking about when it comes to this issue of Nigeria to South Africa? Has he issued any statement to the
No. They've not really done anything. They've just been purpling around the cracks. We need to take action. If we are going to take South Africa to the ICJ and report them so that we know it's a statement, let's even do that. We've not really done anything. Even the evacuation, we've just been managing to evacuate people back home. Even that one itself is not as free. We still get reports from South Africa that Nigerians are saying a lot of them have not been fully brought back home. So we've not really, these are part of the criticisms of this government. So we just keep holding them accountability. See, the truth is, anybody, any politician, I don't care about them. Even Obi Atiku, I don't care about them. All I care about is let's build a system where we can hold anybody accountable once they get in there. That's my priority. That's just it.
what's it called? The judiciary system, everything is upside down in that
No,
country.
the judiciary is tied. And that's why you see when you have a society where you have strong men, when you have strong men, not strong institution, it becomes problematic.
You
That's
know
just
the
it.
craziest thing of my life? In fact, one day I was traveling from Phoenix, Arizona, to Nigeria, right? So unfortunately, okay, fortunately, I will not say unfortunately, when I left the airport in Phoenix, Donald Trump was at the airport too. Now it was just like a regular airport. Yes, the president of the United States was at the airport. In fact, unfortunately for me, that very period, I stopped at what's it called? I flew down to Nigeria, trying to get myself from airport, that's the international airport to local airport. Unfortunately for me, then Tinubu was fast. I can't remember that day. I think it was I don't know what was going on in Lagos. Tinubu was going to the local airport. In fact, I stood for 40 minutes waiting for Tinubu's cover to get by.
Hmm.
40 minutes. You are telling Nigerians to cut down their costs, not to manage yourself. Don't you be extravagant? Do you know how much it's going to cost to run those the vehicle, the fuel, the gas you're using to run those convoy? But you're telling us to cut it. Donald Trump, Donald Trump, you don't use to pass like that.
Okay.
Donald Trump, what's it called? Donald Trump, what's convoy? It's what you came up to.
No, the convoy, in all fairness, the convoy of the American president too is a lot. I mean, it's a lot. I can't say specifically the number of cars, but it's a lot too. I mean, we've seen that too. But it's fine. I mean, but you can also make a fair comparison between the American economy and Nigeria. So, I mean, I get that argument. But thank you so much. I really appreciate you, my brother. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Right. 0818 1991 Accountability means asking how many hospitals do we have? Do we even have how many hospitals working? Do we even know how many drugs we have in these hospitals? Can we take an audit of most of the contracts in the budgets? There's a revelation that came out recently that shows that what these government parastatals now do, and that's why you see this ministry and departments of government, MDAs, a lot of them should be scrutinized. What a lot of these parastatals are now used to do, they are now used to embed constituency projects. There's a reportage on the Premium Times as regards, in fact, let me read that reportage to you, on Premium Times as regards how governments, what's it called, parastatals are being used to embed constituency projects. And okay, some stories making the rounds. Uche Naji to be arraigned again. I think it's been arraigned before, but and I'm going to read that story to you. What's happening? How parastatals are used to hide constituency projects. Yeah. Okay, I think we have a call coming in. Hello, how are you?
Hello, good morning.
Morning, what's the name where you calling from?
Yeah, I want to speak with Rufai, please.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm listening to you. I'm all ears.
What is the
Happy Sunday, go ahead.
He's not the one I'm speaking now. I'm watching it like he's really not acting. He's not the one that's speaking.
What?
He's not the one that is speaking. I'm watching it like he's background.
So who is speaking if you are watching live? If it's not Rufai. So who is speaking?
Hello?
Okay. Um, so so President Tinubu's government has actually directed MDAs to stop processing payments for constituency and zonal intervention projects unless they are confirmed and they get a certificate of verification and compliance from Federal Ministry of Special Duties. This according to a confidential Treasury circular obtained by SARA reporters. And all of this is because a lot of these parastatals are now being used to bring out constituency projects and do all sorts. I mean, how can River Basin Development Authority be used to do all sorts of constituency projects? Hello, how are you? Great to have you. Hello, how are you? Hello, how are you? Okay. Please do well to what's it called? Do well to get across to us and let us see. So I just to prove to you that that story has been on, it's been on for a while, and how constituency projects are being handled. You know, constituency projects are now being put into government parastatals, and these are some of the challenges that have befallen our society. These are some of the problems, and when we talk about these things, we just need to demand accountability. See, let's not deceive ourselves. There's no society that will not have a level of corruption. All we need to be able to do is to be able to have a level of accountability that no matter what you do, no matter how you act funny, the system will be able to ask you questions. And once they can ask you questions, then forget it. And if you are found guilty, then you should be able to face the law. That's what accountability is. And that's why you see the role of the media is also there in the Constitution. It's just that level of accountability that we need. Hello, how are you?
Hello. Good morning, sir. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. Go ahead. What's your name?
Sorry, it's network. Because I'm the one that called before it's network. That's the reason why I want you to another person speak up. This is another person. Sorry, sir. Good morning, sir.
Go ahead. What's your name?
My name is John. I'm calling from Madrid.
Go ahead. John from Madrid.
Yeah, thank you very much. I know how you have been to the emotional cars when you I'm watching it. I appreciate you, sir. Thank you very much for what you are doing for the common man, for what you see for everybody. Like you want to do, you sentiment, you don't do this one or that one, you only go to the point. I want you to appreciate you, sir. So God will lift you, God bless you, God will stretch you for what you are doing, and God will protect you for the truth. You stand for the betterment of Nigeria. I want you to appreciate you, sir. Happy Sunday, sir.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Hello, how are you?
Hello, good morning.
Morning. Great to have you.
How are you?
Very well. What's your name? Where are you calling from? The volume of your radio set is loud. Turn it off. Always learn to turn off. You can't do two things at a time. You can't share yourself on the radio. Huh? You can't. No, turn on the volume of your radio set. You can't hear yourself on radio and talk at the same time. There's interference. I'll cut it off. If I have to repeat it again, I'll cut it off. The volume of your radio set is loud. Okay, let me cut you off. So please, I have to beg again. Please, two things. You cannot call and put on the device at which you are listening to the show, and at the same time, still call from a telephone and want to hear yourself speaking on it. I know it's a thrill. A lot of people like it. Oh, I hear myself on the radio. But you can't do two things at a time. I know it's a thrill. I mean, I've done this for over 20 years. I know a lot of people just look forward to it so that they can hear their own voice and how they sound on the radio. It's fine. It's good. Or on any platform. But please, you can't do two things at a time. And we just have to round this up. So please, you go to 90.3. That's on terrestrial radio. If you're in Lagos and its environs in the state, you can tune into 90.3 FM to listen to the second part of the show, which will be an interview with Daily Mamod. Or better still, you go to the YouTube page, VOP 90.3 FM, to listen to that second part of the show. All right. So that's about all we can take on the show today. I thank you all for your time. God bless each and every one of you. You are lifted as well. God bless you. What has Tinubu done not right?
The economy of Nigeria. These days, even for me to open some messages on my phone, I'm scared because everyone is begging. The suffering of the people, then of course, insecurity has never been this bad. I'm 66, approaching 67. So I'm old enough to know and understand the challenges we've encountered in Nigeria before now. Nothing can equal this. And I'm not seeing any sense of remorse or atonement. Everything is, we are doing something about it, we will do something about it. Look, if I was the president of Nigeria, you haven't asked me that question, but I'm telling you what I will do. Number one, information is power. You must inform the citizenry every day. If you look at even Donald Trump at his age, sometimes you see him standing there at press conferences, he's almost falling asleep, but he's speaking to Americans. Is Tinubu talking to you?
Welcome to yet another exciting time out here on this podcast. Today on the show, we have a man that his story is very interesting because he was never given a chance at the very start. How would you have wondered or imagined a man that his father worked in the king's courts in a very far away land from his own hometown in Edo State? But he took that, bolstered himself, became a pioneer of so many things in the Nigerian media scene, and constantly has evolved into a man that we can say has built an appreciable track record where people look and say they want the ovation standard, they want the Bob G standard. A man of many parts, journalist, actor. A lot of people don't know you do stage play. I've seen a couple of them. You know, politician, presidential candidate, and somebody that believes in the Nigerian project and the Nigerian story. Ladies and gentlemen, the highest networker around you can ever see. Nobody networked harder than Bob G. Dele Momodu. Egbon, great to have you, sir.
Rufai Fire.
It's more than a joy having you, sir.
Rufai Fire.
It's more than a joy.
The honor is mine.
Good to see you, sir.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Bless you,
and
sir.
I hope we'll be able to talk. According to a British telecom advert, it is good to talk.
It is good to talk. Can I ask you something about what is it you learned from your background that made you an unbelievable networker? There is Dele Momodu that is beyond, the Nigerian network ecosystem, that if you open his phone, he has presidents of nations on his contact base. What did you learn in your childhood that made you an unbelievable networker?
I think I'll call it the power of prayer. My parents were prayer warriors. I was born in another Dura church, what we call the spiritual church, somewhere in Obalufon, in Ile-Ife. I was a child of prophecy. For the first 3 years of my life, no razor touched my head. Well, my parents were so spiritual that I think they prayed more than praying mantis. So I took after them. There were prophecies I remember. By the time I was about 7 years old, there were prophecies that if I survived the first 7 years, I would be famous. And I used to wonder how, in that environment of Ile-Ife, how anybody could be famous. But you'll be shocked. Ile-Ife is the spiritual home of Yoruba people. And some of the brightest writers came from that axis. Dele Giwa was born at number 2 at Ibasqua, just opposite the palace. The Adelekons, in the home of the Adelekons. I used to have a friend now of blessed memory, Gani Adelekon. So, Dele Giwa, but I never met him. That's the surprising thing. Despite the fact that we grew up in the same axis, we were at number 2A at Ibasqua, where my mom sold what we call wosi-wosi. We had a beer parlor selling food and drinks. Dele Olojede, though he's from Modakeke, he also grew up in that Ile-Ife axis. We had a former classmate of mine, now also of blessed memory, Dele Agekame, who was at Newswatch. He's passed now. Fantastic writer right from the time we were at St. John's Grammar School, Ile-Ife. So there was something spiritual about Ife, I can tell you. And so I grew up without knowing where I was going. But as a child of destiny, my life navigated, meandered through a labyrinth of sadness and joy. Let me put it that way. I lost my father when I was 13 years old. So you can imagine. And I was left with a poor, unlettered mother. My dream in life was to be a teacher because I was surrounded by teachers, by lecturers in Ife. You know, Ife is a university town, just like Cambridge, Oxford, and so on and so forth. So that was my ultimate dream because the people you see around you, you know, they are the ones you want to emulate. And lecturers in those days were well, let me say, in inverted commas, well paid, well respected, and very relevant in society, not like now that people disrespect them anyhow. So I wanted to be a teacher, probably marry a teacher and live happily thereafter. Unfortunately, I couldn't, even after my master's degree, I couldn't get a job as a teacher. So, but I didn't know God was leading me somewhere and where he was leading me. It was out of joblessness that I started writing articles and essays in the African Guardian magazine at the time, in the on the opinion page of the Guardian newspapers, writing in Sunday Tribune, in the Malifala Affair Ibadan. And so that was how people started reading and getting to know about my writing skills and style. Then boom, myself and a classmate of mine, Kunle Ajibade, wrote an article on plagiarism that exploded. And everybody got to know about us. I still couldn't get a job. Then one day, my friend, also now of blessed memory, Onuka Badino Yojo, was working at the Guardian, was one of the top journalists at the time. Then invited me. We had met in Ife. He came for the Olojo Festival. He used to cover the Olojo Festival of Ife for the Guardian every year. So he came, and I was managing Motel Royal Limited, owned by Obakwande Shijuade Olubushe II. And we will need to talk about where my networking started from. So then he saw a couple of things I had written. He said, but you should be contributing this to newspapers. You can't just be writing and wasting your efforts. I said, okay, if you can help me take something to Lagos, maybe if you publish it, that will encourage you. And I took it, and then the African Guardian published it. And of course, thereafter, Dr. Yemi Ogubi, our mutual you know, I also approached him. He came on sabbatical at the Rutam House, the Guardian in Lagos, and I gave him one of my articles, which was about Ngugi wa Thiong'o, the famous author of Weep Not Child, Weep Not My Darling. With these kisses, let me remove your tears. The ravening clouds shall no longer be victorious. They shall no longer possess the sky. In those days, we used to memorize everything. You know, so... And he brought the article because Ngugi at that time decided he was no longer going to be writing in English. He would write only in Kikuyu language.
That was when he changed his name to Ngugi. His name was James Wationgo.
James Ngugi. Then he now changed to Ngugi Wationgo. Yeah. So, and I remember our big brother, the poet, the literati audio of fame, had written an article. Saying it was too parochial. How can you write only in your native language? And I got angry. You know, intellectuals in those days, we fought, you know, with facts. You know, we fought with facts. No, I said, no, there are many writers all over the world who don't even speak English.
I
mean, Nagui Mahfouz won the Nobel Prize in Literature was an Egyptian. You understand? So if they have works, they were translated.
Yes.
They did not write originally in English. So Gabriel Marquez was Spanish, I believe, and so many of them like that who did not write in English. I say, so what stops an African? English is not our mother tongue. He wanted to reach the grassroots of his country, of his nation. So he started writing. So that was how I wrote The Politics of Language. That essay was. And I gave copious reasons why Ngugi should be allowed the freedom, the liberty, poetic liberty to write in whatever language he wanted. Then he replied the following week with language politics. You know, it was you know, that was how I started. And so I started sending my articles to him as the editor of the op-ed page. And then I started also coming to Lagos to meet with, I mean, they were like gods to me, literally gods, you know. You had Amaogan at the Guardian at the time. You had the Sunana Olumesi. Yeah. At the time, Tunji Ladna Jr.
Ladibo,
Ladibo Nuola, Uncle Femi Kusa. You know, so many of them. Shiyulu Awofeso was writing there.
Great Stanley Makebo.
Yeah, Stanley Makebo, Andy Akporugo. You know, Edwin Madunago. We had, I mean, Dr. Yemi Ogubi, who had come from Ife. And so that was how I started interacting, and I wanted to be like them. I was greatly inspired by them. Oh, there's a guy I can never forget. Greg Obongo Shotzi. He had made a first class in political science from Ife. So the lineup at the Guardian was unmatchable. So my dream, if ever I would be a writer, was to be at the Guardian. So I then applied as requested by Unuka Badinoyojo. And then I came for an interview, but I was rejected. To say I was devastated would be an understatement. I was devastated. And then he said, oh, why don't you then let me introduce you to the Concord newspapers. I said, no, I don't want to hear about Concord. I read that, and I heard Fela singing International TT, the MKO was this and that. And that's what changed how I perceive people. I don't just judge people without getting to know them better. I never knew my life was going to change at the Concord newspapers. It was out of joblessness and frustration. My mom was getting old. She had tried everything she could on her own just to make ends meet. Of all my friends, I was the only jobless one. So I became desperate to just have anything. That was how it took me to the Concord newspapers, African Concord magazine to be precise. And we met the editor at the time, Louis Obi. Unfortunately, he's also passed now, you know, and he employed me on the spot. And so one thing led to the other, and here we are today.
So with all of this, what did these things teach you? The power of networking, the power of people? Because yes, these were the early days. You know, after your days at the Concord, you went to Classic, you did some work with me, Ezekiel and the likes. But where did you learn this, your knack for, you know, and for networking, and segue into when you first met MQ Abiola and what MQ Abiola meant to you?
Okay. You see, your signature in life must be a signature of excellence. You invited me, I came,
and thank
because
you
you're an excellent reporter. You do your job well. We can disagree with you. I do disagree with you sometimes.
Yes, many times.
You disagree with me too.
Yes.
We fight on your program. But nobody can remove that passion for excellence. So I was also very fortunate as a young man. I was a bookworm. You know, they say knowledge is power. I read voraciously, greedily, stupendously.
You still do today?
Yes, no, I don't have a choice. In fact, I derive my biggest joy from reading.
Francis Bacon said, reading makes a fool man.
Trust me. So for me, I was fortunate. One day, I went home with a friend of mine, Segun Omoboriwo, to see his dad, who was then the deputy governor of Old Ondo State. And we were discussing. I was so young, I would have been maybe about 21, 22, thereabout. And we were discussing politics, and his dad was just staring at me. Who is this? Ajantala, you know, if you read Ogbojo the Forest of 1,000 Demons. Yeah, so that prodigiously crazy guy, I could discuss any topic because I read them all from philosophy to history to sociology to religious studies, everything. Though I was a major in Yoruba studies, but I was quite versatile.
Which of people say you should be a babalawo for?
Yeah, someone said that. Well, it was out of ignorance. It's not worth.
Someone responded.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, and so Chief looked at me and said, "You, this young man." That's how the elders of those days used to speak. "You, this young man, where did you know all these things from? Where did you learn this from? Where did?" And I said, "From reading, sir." Said, "When are you graduating?" I said, "In 1982, sir." He said, "Please, by the grace of God, when you graduate, after your national service, I would love to have you in my office." So that was how I started interacting with the elders. I mean, in those days, he was one of the biggest AOEs in town. So I started reading the books of Chief Obafemi Awolowo, the Owele of Onitsha, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. And then I started, of course, by 1978, I bought my first inspirational book in Nigeria, The Man Died by Wole Soyinka. In fact, I showed a copy, my original copy. The cover is gone, but the book is still there. And the date is still there. I bought it June 1978. So you can imagine that's about maybe 48 years ago. So I started reading all those things, reading the African writer series.
Red cover.
Yeah. So I started reading and reading and reading. And so that was it. I was prepared for the world. So through Chief Omoboriwo, I now started meeting also different people. Somewhere along the line, I met the then Oni of Ife, Oba Okwande Sijuade Olubushe II, Olubushe Eriogun Ebitiki Mokperi, Osumonle Sumani, Olubushe Alakete Ogun, Dakundabo Mokanmilo Ogun Jenkuti Kaami. Yes, we were deep. We had a deep knowledge of our culture, of our tradition, of our literature, you know, of our local poetry, what we call Ewi, Oduifa. We were grounded. We had the likes of Wande Abimbola who had taught us. We had lecturers who came from other countries, like Professor Kotbitek from Uganda, the author of Song of Lawino, Song of Ochol. He taught us literature in Ife. Wole Soyinka was in Ife also at the same time. We had Professor David Rubadiri from Malawi. So we were grounded. So when you spoke to elders, they instantly fell in love with you that you are a man of knowledge. Today, you have to be a man of money, unfortunately.
That's a sad one.
So that was how the networking started. So I now started working for Oba Okwande Sijuade because after the Buhari coup, my boss was locked up in our prison. And I used to go and see him in our almost every other day. That was how he would send me, go and meet this person in Lagos, go and meet this person in Ibadan, go and meet that, you know. So I started networking. Then by 2015, 1985, yes, I was 25. So I joined the Oni of Ife, managing Motel Royal Limited.
Did you know that your father also worked in the court?
Well, what happened was that my father, there were two of them. It was Ele Agikame's father that worked inside the palace.
Okay.
While my own father worked with the PWD, what we used to call Pongpong Wahala Dede.
Okay.
How he got to live from Yeve, you know, Owan East today of Edo State, I would never know because I was too young to ask those questions. So, but Baba Okwande Sijuade knew that my father was from that part of Nigeria, and my mother was from Bogon in Osun State now. So I met so many people, the emirs, the sultan, everybody everybody used to come to Ife because Baba was one of the biggest networkers you would ever know. After that, it would be Chief MK Abiola. So you can imagine moving from the deputy governor to the Oni of Ife, from the Oni of Ife to MK Abiola's Concord newspaper, and then thereafter knowing Dr. Mike Adenuga Jr., someone I call the spirit of Africa, a man you don't see but you feel his impact all around you, and then almost everybody who is anybody in Nigeria, from Dangote to Abdulsamad Rabiu to Femi Otedola to Tony Elumelu, getting to know Ozu, Kim Bello Osage. You know, at that time, those were the biggest names in Nigeria. And I met all of them. And because, again, I believe from the humility I picked up from my parents, so I knew how to just come in quietly into any environment, make my impact quietly, and let the impact speak for me.
MQ Abiola, started working for him. You can work for someone without him discovering. I mean, Wonder Bread, for instance, had thousands of people working there. I'm sure on the roster of African Congo, there were hundreds of people working
Definitely.
there. How did you become different and unique that you now started working closely with him, that you became friends with his son, Kola?
You see, I think, again, that word destiny. I believe I'm a child of destiny and diversity. Concord, where I was reluctant to work, became my break. I got my break from Concord. Chief Abiola had about 8 different titles under the Concord group. We had National Concord, we had Sunday Concord, we had Weekend Concord, we had African Concord, we had African Economic Digest, we had Ishokon, that's a Yoruba newspaper, we had Amana, we had Udoka. So we had about 4, but you won't believe it, we had Business Concord. I was writing for about 5 out of 8 titles. I was paid only for 1. But me, I am a workaholic, let me put it that way. So I really wanted to distinguish myself. I didn't want to go back to Ife, you know. So to remain in Lagos, so I had to work extraordinarily. And so it didn't take time before my bosses started noticing me, my MD, Dr. Doyin Abiola, God rest her soul.
Yes.
And then, of course, the chairman. What got me close to the chairman initially was my relationship with Shina Peters. He used to host a lot of special guests, and he was hosting maybe the Green Eagles at that time. I think they were called the Green Eagles, and he needed Shina Peters to perform. And my MD told him that, oh, Dele Momodu was the one who authored Shinomania. So he and Shina, they are very close.
How did you meet Shina Peters?
We were invited when he was launching his humongous album, Ace. He was launching it somewhere at the Railway Club in Ebute Metta, thereabout. So I was invited at that time to cover it. And I interviewed him. Then for the first time, we put a Yoruba artist on the front page, full cover of Weekend Concord. Shinomania is the latest craze in town. That was the title. So that got us very close. I was in his house in Iju. His wife, Sammy Peters, became my sister. We were always doing a lot of shows together, traveling with him. And by 1992, when I got married, I had 2 best men. Shina Peters was one of them. The other was Kunle Bakare, the publisher of Encomium. So that was how Shina Peters became one of my best friends. Till today, we're still best of friends. You
have a way of keeping friendship, just like you keep the friendship with your Osho State governor.
Oh, yes.
How did you meet him too?
Demola Adeleke, at that time, we had a group of people who used to converge at the Stadium Hotel in Surulere every Friday night.
The Baz Hotel.
Yes, it wasn't Akidairo, it was Dr. Victor Laya. Dr. Victor Laya, you know, and we used to meet there all the who is who in Nigeria was dancing Shina. Femi Otedola, Shegun Awolowo. Oh, I still spoke to his mom this afternoon. You know, such a shame. God bless his soul, you know. Shegun Awolowo, Lanre Teju Osho. So many of us, even the Dangotes at that time, everybody was for Shina.
Shina was the Michael Jackson of them.
Oh, no. I don't think anybody can equal
that rave.
No. Everybody, all the Ajabotas, let me put it that way.
Oh, yeah.
The Silver Spoon Kids,
so
they were all...
that period, we were in worry, but we were dancing Shina, just to show you how popular. And I remember we'll go to parties, you know, we'll dance Shina.
No, anywhere. Wives of governors, first ladies...
In fact, let me tell you a very funny story about. I think it was one of the chiefs of DSC then, you know, those in charge. They brought Shina for an event, and I think they had not paid workers and stuff. And when the workers revolted, they were saying, Jiggerite. Wow. It was the rave of the moment. Everybody knew Shina Peters then.
Shina, no. You described him right. The Michael Jackson.
It was Michael Jackson of that moment.
Yes. Yeah. And then you can see the new monster hits released by Fox.
Yeah.
The balded, you know, that's among you fine, baby.
777 is a number.
You know, we had fun in our time.
So going back to MK Abiola, you got Shina Peters for...
So I got Shina Peters for him. So I now went back to tell him that your event tomorrow, Shina will be there. And then that was my first time of sitting in his living room with him. And I think he noticed maybe I had a rickety wristwatch, or I can't remember if I wore a wristwatch. And then he just said, okay, I'm coming, give me a minute. And he entered his bedroom and came out with this brand new gold-plated wristwatch. When I saw it, I said, wow. You mean God, you are great. And that was how we started our relationship. And he liked me every now and then if he wanted to do anything regarding media. But I didn't stay too long in Concord. I spent exactly 2 years and resigned. I think that's destiny again. Because I can't explain it. How I resigned from Abiola, who was reputed to be probably the richest man in Nigeria at the time, and go and work for a younger lady, Maylin Ezekiel, who was married to my friend Richard Mofedamijo, you know, at that point. And so now the other thing is that I got closer to Chief Abiola after I left Concord. Because I just resigned, you know, Maylin Ezekiel started a publication, Classic magazine, but didn't have a substantive editor initially. So she needed one. And one day, she now started writing a column for Weekend Concord, which I was editing under Maka Awoyifa and Dingba Igwe, also of blessed memory. So
those two.
No, you
crazy things.
Unbeatable duo. And I'm happy that Uncle Mike is still so close to the family. They live side by side. They build houses side by side, and they take the wife out whenever they are going out. And I'm so excited for that. And I was born I have the same birthday with Dinga. Yes, May 16.
Wow.
You know, so of course. Maylin Ezekiel used to come, and I was editing her column. So one day she walked into our newsroom at Weekend Concord and saw a bottle of Gouda on the table. I put one leg on the table, and I was writing. In those days, we used to write longhand. There was no computer. So she came and she said, sure, you know, I think Soko, one of those, you know, said, sure. Bobby, you are writing, you are drinking Gouda, you have one leg on the table. Say, what are you doing? I said, you know, the story I'm writing can land me in prison. So
enjoy myself first.
So let me just
allow me to enjoy myself.
So then she said, oh wow. So what's the story about? Then I told that. Then she said, she would like to meet me after. Let's talk. Let's talk. I said, okay. What do you want me to do? If you can come to the penthouse at number 3 Allen Avenue. That time, Allen was the Koyi of Nigeria, you know. So I said, okay, I'll come. Then I went there. He said, I have an offer for you. I said, hey, offer of what? He said, I want you to come and edit my magazine. I said, how will I leave Concord? That the Abiolas will not agree. She said I should forget it. Then she offered me a fantastic salary I couldn't receive.
In fact, so after that point, she offered you the highest pay ever
in Nigeria, not just
for an editor.
For an editor.
How much was the money?
At that time, it will be approaching, total package will be approaching for about 40,000 naira, which was...
A month?
No, a year.
Yeah.
My salary when I started was 9,000.
A year?
A year.
In Concord?
Yes.
That was 1980.
Money had value. I joined Concord in 1988. My first salary was $8,400 a year.
That's 8,400.
About 700 naira. I said dollars. Naira, of course, our value to the dollar was still quite good. You know,
about 3 to 1 because devaluation was 86.
And then at that time, those who were working at Guardian and all those places, I cross-checked with them. Nobody was earning up to 20,000. Yeah. And somebody is offering you close to 40,000 at the time. With a car, with a driver, housing allowance, all the perks. And it was a glamour thing. Classic, having an office on Allen Avenue at the penthouse. That was one of the first times I heard about the penthouse. And today I live in a penthouse. You know, that kind of influence. That, so, and then the opportunity to meet who is who in Nigeria. So I thought about it. Then I went to consult my boss. He's my boss forever, Michael Weaver. I said, sir, this is the offer merely the girl has made to me. Then he looked at me and said, hey, so how do you see it? I said, I can't go. He said, you can't go where? I said, I will bundle you there myself. He said, look, unless you want to kill me and dig by here, you've reached your peak already. You are news editor. I was number 3 in hierarchy. He said, look, he personally drove me to the penthouse to accept the job. And I have no regrets till today because it wasn't about the money. Then I met Chief Abiola thereafter at Sheraton Hotel. He was hosting Mr. Sani Zoro, who had become the president of the Nigerian. I don't know if they call it Guild of Editors then or Union of Journalists, one of them. Yeah. So, and when Chief Abiola entered the place, he saw me early. He said, oh, now I'm seeing some of the runaway people who ran away from Concord, Dele Momodu, and then, you can imagine how I felt at the time that he could acknowledge me in public. And then when we were leaving, we were outside Sheraton Hotel. He came to us, met me, Otumba, Bimbo, Ashiru, and all of us. And then he said, Daily One. He used to have nickname. He said, Daily One. So, why did you leave without telling me? I said, because you will not allow me to go, sir. He said, but okay, so what stopped you from coming over to the house? I said, how will I enter Abiola's gate, sir? Then he started laughing. He said, no, you are my son. Why? You can come. Then he said, do you have your card? I didn't have a card. Then he grabbed Bimbo Ashiru's card and wrote behind it, Dear Security House, please allow Biara to see me anytime. He wrote the anytime in all caps. That's fine. Then he said, go and put your card on it, laminate it. That's your multiple visa. That was how I started gaining access to Chief Abiola's house. And our relationship blossomed thereafter.
Then 93 happened.
93, well, before 93, I was one of the earliest people to suspect that Baba was going to declare before long. Because from the moves he was making, it was obvious to me that you can't just be doing all these things giving money to all Nigerian universities, setting up newspapers in droves, selling bread almost at giveaway. The Wonder Bakery was top notch and yet affordable. So one day I wrote him a letter. I've been audacious for long. I was maybe about 30 years old. So I sent him a letter. In those days, we didn't have all this WhatsApp and everything. I said, Daddy, something tells me you are going to go into politics again after you left MPN. But I want to beg you in the name of God, if you are going to do it, join the party that would respect you. Immediately he read the letter. He sent a driver that they should pick me to his house on Moshood Abiola Crescent, Toyin Street, Ikeja. When I got there, he was hosting the sports people, the footballers as always. And he paused. He said, please let me acknowledge the presence of my adopted son, Dele Momodu. My head went, wow, like Gary Jebu inside cold water. And so he said I should sit. I was watching, then after they finished, he took me upstairs. Said, I read your letter. Dele won. Kilori, he was a standard. Kilori. Money. It is very obvious to me, sir, that you are going somewhere. And it can only be presidency. No, you were discouraged by MPN the last time, but I think so your
that was exactly 10 years before.
Yes. So I said, please, I want you to consider this. I even spoke, I did my own, at that time, because knowledge is power. I did my own research about the things that will be on the front burner. We spoke about ethnicity, we spoke about religion. I even suggested names to him of Northern Christians. That's how well researched my paper was. And he was so fascinated. And I learned a lot later, because all the things that we took for granted regarding religion in particular came back to haunt us. Because the North was vehemently against a Muslim Southerner and a Christian Northerner. Until today, it hasn't changed. So he said, let's wait and see. He didn't tell me if he would run or not. So this would have been around 1991, thereabout. Maybe, about 1991. So, and he kept on with his activities, traveling globally, helping the needy, supporting churches, supporting mosques. He had a robust template preparing him for his journey. And so that was how I got so close to him. I remember we went to Senegal. It took about 43 of us when he was doing the reparations thing. We went to Godi Island. In Senegal. Kola Abiola was there. Agbola, Ayodeji, Dele Alake, Ben Cash, Tunji Bello. Those were his key guys. So we were all there. And then we traveled and got back. And thereafter, Nduka Obagbena came to me that he was starting. At that time, he called it Leaders and Company. He didn't call it this day. And that he would want me to be the editor. Of course, I gave him my conditions. He met it. He's always been very bold, very courageous. And we got an office on Norman Williams, very close to Ribadu in Ikoyi. That was where we started. It was an apartment. And he bought me a car. We went to Bube Okorodudu one day. He picked 2 Peugeot cars. He gave me one and took one for himself, And so we started recruiting the staff that would start the organization. I brought in Okagbe Aduba from Classic Magazine. I had Augustine Sam, who I believe is now based in Italy. We had George Ufort. We had very good materials. Some of those who had worked with me at Classic. So we poached them and brought them over to Leaders and Company, which later changed to this day. So that was the parent company. Unfortunately for us, towards end of January 1993, so this was in 1992. So by 1993, I was in Nduka's house one evening, and then he got a call. And when he dropped, he said, look, MKO had just declared his interest to run. So Abba has not told us. I said, okay, don't worry, I'll go and see Kola. So from Nduka's house, he was living at Mekwen, Ikoyi then. I went to Kola's house. Kola was living in Antoni village with his brothers. So I went there and he said, yes, he's heard that his dad is running, but he doesn't have the details yet. So that was how, at the end of the day, I followed Abiola, and then later Nduka followed Bashir Tofa because he was a member of NRC, while I joined Abiola as a volunteer. And that was how I left the This Day project, Leaders and Company project. And but Nduka was so kind. The car he bought for me, people were telling him, go and pick your car. Lele is not with you.
No, he will not.
Why is he? He said they should go and take it from me.
He has a very big heart. It's too larger than life for all that.
You know, and so since then, we've always been friends. Even when it was starting Arise, I was one of those who used to go with Ruben Abati, Wale Olaileye, and others to Apapa, the Apapa office. That was where everything started. From every Sunday, we used to go there. And
as a panel on this day.
We are today, yes.
When did you meet Bola Tinubu?
I had met him in Abiola's house.
Okay.
Around the period of June 12. I knew about him. He was a senator, and he was media friendly. So he used part of Abiola's template, investing heavily in the media. So he had...
It was media friendly then?
Very media friendly.
What was he investing? Which media was he investing in then?
Every media organization, he had friends.
Okay.
Abiola was like that. So if he needed to drop a story, he knew those he could call and all that. So before he now started establishing his own media organizations. So I met him from there. And then, of course, we became very close in exile. I used to be in his house every now and then. And he also visited my house once during the christening of my second son, himself, Oji Uzokalu, all of them were there. We were in exile.
Oji was in exile then?
No, he came on visit. And then, because he used to call me every time he came in, and I would go to his house.
But I thought Oji Uzokalu was more amenable to the Abacha
I don't know.
regime. So how come were you guys hobnobbing?
In life...
But you know, Oji Uzokalu was struggling for Abacha, was struggling for a man that was against you guys, and that's why you guys were in exile.
No, you see, let me tell you, businessmen are different human beings. Different businessmen. At that time, I used to call Oji a bar trader. If you ask him, he said, I was one of the few people. In fact, the first story we did about him, when he said he would want to be governor, a bar trader eyes the government house. I'm telling you, that was how we described it. He's always been a friend of everybody. He was very close to Babangida. In fact, I believe that the coup that chased Babangida out of Lagos, I think he ended up initially in Ochikalu's house. If the story I was told is correct. So he's always been a big player. He went to school in Maiduguri. So a lot of the children of northern elites were at the University of Maiduguri at that time. So that's where he made a lot of contacts, and then he became larger than life. He's always been a trader and a very friendly guy who did not care whether you agree or disagree with him. He will say his own, then you will say your own. And that's the whole essence of democracy. Democracy does not make you enemies. Does not mean that because somebody does not agree with you, he has become your enemy. So at that time, we didn't have the kind of sharp division
Like we have.
that we have now.
Isn't it shocking that the children of elites used to be in Nigerian universities then? Is that not an indictment on what we have become today?
I don't know how we got it wrong. But I think the foundation was laid by the military. You know, military interregnum was so volatile. And I think as a result of that, they started taking their children out because out of danger, let me put it that way. And it now became a free-for-all thing. So everybody is now doing it. Anybody who can afford or struggle to pay fees abroad. I think that might change because of the problem of foreign exchange now. A lot of people are looking inwards. And some of the universities or even secondary schools abroad are now coming to establish in Nigeria. So if you were going to Charterhouse in Surrey, you now have Charterhouse from Godami in Lagos. And you will see that it's far cheaper for you to pay the fees in Naira than struggling to get pound, sterling and all that.
Let's talk about President Tinubu further. So you were with him in exile. When did you start to have departure of ideology? Was it when he came back and vied for governor? Because when you were together in exile, you were united in a struggle.
Yes, let's call it the Nadeko struggle now.
Nadeko struggle, yeah.
Yeah. The Nadeko struggle brought a lot of people together, even if they disagreed ideologically and otherwise. What we were concerned about was getting rid of the military. But on a personal note, I wasn't going to get rid of the military to replace it with civilian dictatorship. That's where I parted ways. So when Tinubu came back, initially we were hearing that they were going to make Senator Wahab Dosunmu the governor of Lagos State. One thing led to another, and then Tinubu's name propped up. And I don't know how he managed to maneuver. And then they got rid of Wahab Dosunmu's name, and Tinubu became the governor. Then somewhere along the line, I now heard that Tinubu was having problems with Afenifere, who were like Afenifere was the foundation of politics, because we had just returned from exile and everybody wanted to compensate those who fought vigorously against the military. So Nadeko was in the forefront, Afenifere was in the forefront, and they collaborated and then made Tinubu their flag bearer Biara. Just like the military elite, or the people we call the owners of Nigeria, decided they were going to give it to a Yoruba man and an Egba man like Abiola, and they ended up with Chief Olusegun Obasanjo's name. At that time, I was supporting Chief Olufalaye because I believed so much that he was an intellectual, banker, economist, and all that, that he would be more mild-mannered than the military man. So that was how I supported him. And that was when I came up with the theory of the owners of Nigeria. Because I've always been very bold as a young man. Nobody would believe that I actually went to a presidential candidate and told him I want to find him a running mate. At that time, I was 38 years old. And I went to Chief Falaye. He was living somewhere around law school in Victoria, and I said, sir, who are you thinking of making your running mate? He said, do I have someone in mind? I said, yes. I said, who? I said, Dr. Riwan Lukman, who was at OPEC in Vienna at the time. And he said, so how do we reach him? I said, I'll go. I'll volunteer to go. I didn't collect a penny. I got my own resources and traveled to Vienna to meet. He was at the OPEC then with Dr. Riwan Lukman, now also of blessed memory. This life. So And when I met him, I was staying at the Intercontinental Hotel. He came in the evening and then we were talking. And he thanked me for coming to fish him out and to nominate him to Chief Olufalaye. And I said, why not? That I didn't want him to go and pick just one uncouth politician. That you are very well educated. I think he went to MIT or something. I checked out his resume. I mean, I've always been in love with intellectuals, you know. So he allowed me to finish talking. Then he looked at me. He said, Dele, thank you so much. Thank you. But unfortunately, I cannot be. I said, you don't want to be vice president? He said, no, I don't want. I said, why not? He said, because the owners of Nigeria have decided that Obasanjo is the next president. I said, are we not going to have an election? He said, it's not about election. That they determine who goes. And it's a clean system and process. I said, you mean nothing can change it. So even the election that we have not held cannot change it. He said he doesn't believe anything can change it. That I should thank Chief Olufalaye. Chief Olufalaye is still alive. We still spoke about it when I visited Baba Fashion the other time. He said it publicly that Dele assisted in going to Vienna. So when I see people today, for example, who say, who is Dele in Nigeria? Does he do more than ovation? It's because people don't read history. Okay. We were active. If I could be following MK Abiola and advising him on what to do, we're talking of maybe 36 or more years ago. So, but that has been my role in Nigerian politics, and it never occurred to me that if you don't accept political appointments, nobody respects you in Nigeria. That's, if you ask me today, one of my biggest discoveries. That's the fact that if you do not add ex-minister, ex-governor, ex-senator to your nomenclature, nobody respects you in Nigeria.
Is it that the owners of Nigeria don't want Atiku Abubakar to be president? They didn't want him in the last election?
No. You see, they always have their factions. There were about 7 of them. I think one of them has departed. Sadly and unfortunately, I think General Wushishi was one of them. They were so they had that clique.
Is it the KD Mafia?
They used to call Kaduna Mafia, but it's more than Kaduna because Obasanjo is not from Kaduna. It's a Yoruba man. And he's a major domo in that clique. The Babangida, Absalami Abubakar, General Aliyu Goso, General T.Y. Danjuma. These are major guys in that decision making. But they had someone who I would call maybe a rebel in General Muhammadu Buhari. So the last election, my information is that Buhari did not initially want Tinubu at all. That's what led Emefiele into the crisis he found himself. Because Buhari, the Attorney General, who is also having crisis now, you know, all of them were in the same clique that didn't want Tinubu. But somehow, you know, Tinubu is a child of destiny, I believe. Whether positive or negative destiny, I don't know. Because he has mismanaged the opportunity given to him by God. What Abiola could not get, what Awolowo could not get, that they were chasing all their lives. He got it on a platter. And see what he has done with it. So
he get it on a platter?
I think he got it on a platter. He got it. It's very...
You think he didn't even work hard for him?
No, when you say getting something on the platter, I'm not saying it was easy. But spiritually, God just made it easy for him. Because if you look, not just in Nigeria, it takes people a lot to become a president, especially in Africa. If you look at Ghana, I think President John Ajekun Kufuor must have tried it about 3 times. Professor Jonathan Mills must have tried it about 3 times. Mahama got it because his boss died in office, just like Yar'Adua died in Nigeria and President Jonathan took over. But then he lost it in 2016 and took him another 8 years. Despite being a past president, he had to chase it for another 8 years to get it. But Tinubu didn't go through all that. And maybe that is why he does not appreciate the huge responsibilities attached to it. So for me, Buhari, like I said, was a phenomenon. He was the odd man amongst all those military elites. He was an odd man. He's always been for the Talakawa. He had his own niche. And it was the poor. So the poor people were fanatical about him. So that helped him. Same thing with Nasiru El-Rufai. So in the last election, Tinubu had Buhari. Tinubu had Nasiru El-Rufai. Tinubu had Aisha Buhari. And of course, so many other people. And Tinubu had a bottomless pit of money. The things you need ethnicity, you need religion, you need money. What James Adichie called the whiff of money.
The whiff of money.
Whiff of money. So he had everything going for him, and he got it.
Atiku had nobody?
No, Atiku had people. But again, in the north, it's a queuing system. After Buhari came Atiku. The problem Atiku had was that compared to Buhari, a lot of people saw him as an elite, that is very elitist. And if you know, Atiku calls himself a Lagos boy. He grew up a lot in Lagos. Did a lot of business in Lagos, made his money from business in Lagos. But now it has reached a stage that they no longer have Buhari. Buhari is in his grave. Nasiru El-Rufai is in prison. So the enemy of your enemy then becomes your friend. And they now see Tinubu as their enemy.
But there were people in the villa too that were supporting Atiku then. That's why some people argue that.
Who are the people who is more powerful to support anybody than the president?
No, but the cabal in the villa was tilted towards Atiku. That's the conversation.
No, which was the cabal? Tell me who the cabal was. The cabal died.
No.
Yes. The chief of staff died.
No, apart from him.
Yes, the other man died. Ismaila Funtua
it's not Funtua.
Died.
I'm not talking about Funtua.
Also, who else is there?
Buhari's relative.
Who?
Buhari's relative.
Which one?
Buhari's cousin, older cousin.
Oh, no, Baba. What is his name now? Can you imagine how we can quickly forget?
Yeah.
The most powerful man in the... No. Buhari was the ultimate person.
But they had influence on him?
No. Once Buhari said this, the way we are going, nobody could challenge him.
But Buhari never wanted Tinubu.
That's what I'm telling you.
It was Ahmed Lawan in the
last minute, they changed that plan. Because people like Nasiru, that's why Nasiru is bitter. People like Nasiru managed to persuade him that you are not going president. Your party losing power is an indictment on your legacy. That's what happened. That is what happened.
So that's why you think that they couldn't get in it. But in all of this, while all of this thing was going on, when that plan to get a northerner in didn't work with the Buhari side, there was also talk of that same attention shifting towards Atiku, and he had that same support base.
Atiku was before. They had settled for Atiku.
When did they settle for Atiku?
Oh, long before the election. They were all talking.
Yeah.
Everybody was talking. But once the Nasiru El-Rufai could convince Buhari that no, your party must not lose power, not when you are going out. It was over for Atiku. Atiku couldn't do anything from that moment onward.
But he had the support of some of these people.
No, I have told you, the biggest look, a president votes and brings out what he has thumb printed to show who he voted for. It's unprecedented in the history of Nigeria.
And then he's a party man.
No, that was a subliminal message to everyone, including INEC, that this is where I stand.
Why are you standing with Atiku that some people say has bungled his chances since '93 up to this time? Why do you think the owners of Nigeria will want Atiku? If your theory is that elections do not matter.
No, I won't tell you that elections will not matter. Things do change over time.
Can I also put in this question as you ask? Has there any time the people have voted against what the owners of Nigeria want?
It's possible. That's why I said Buhari was a rebellion. And he also succeeded because the owners of Nigeria were probably not happy that, what's his name? Jonathan, after he got power, did not treat them fairly. That was the impression. You know, everything in life is about impression. They felt he empowered different people, the Niger Delta people, and he was no longer, and whereas he had inherited the portfolio of the late President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua. So I think what then happened was that even the 2019 election, a lot of people believe that Atiku won that election. I have
not shown evidence for that.
So that's why I don't quote it. I'm just saying people believed. In 2023, also, they believed that Atiku won the election, though the obedience claim.
No evidence for that, because Obitu said it and I asked for
that's what I'm
evidence.
Saying. No evidence. So, but elections do have patterns. And I like to talk about patterns, even in America. That's why you see journalists on the night of elections, they are able to predict because they know there are red states, there are blue states, and all that. And we have that in Nigeria. There is nobody, no matter if the city boys like, let them put 10 trillion, 20 trillion in the Southeast. For as long as Obi is on that ballot, they cannot beat him.
Will you say in the last election, it was really because of the owners of Nigeria not supporting Atiku, or Obi destroyed the chances of Atiku with the votes he got?
In the last election, it was a combination of several things. One of them was the mood of the nation. We had just gone through the NSAS campaign. The young people were awakened, including my own son who came in from England. I was bubbling with enthusiasm that now we are powerful enough to change the nonsense you old generation are doing in Nigeria. And I asked him a simple question. I said, who is the leader of your movement? He said, no, we have no leader. We are all leaders. I said, then this thing will fail. Because every revolution that I have studied, from Russia to China to India to wherever, they've always had an iconic character. Even Ghana had the Osagyefo, Kwame Nkrumah. There were other big names in the struggle before Rawlings later came with his own revolution. In Kenya, you had a leader in Jomo Kenyatta, whose son, Uhuru, later became president. And of course, you had Ojinga Odinga, the father of Raila, who was like second in command to Kenyatta. In Zambia, you had Kenneth Kaunda, who later wrote Zambia Shall Be Free. In Nigeria, we didn't have a clear cut because we've always been divided along ethnic and religious lines. So in South Africa, we had the Nelson Mandela. In Tanzania, we had the Mwalimu Julius Nyerere. So, I mean, these are things that didn't work in Nigeria. We've never gone through a revolution. We have the military, after military, and so on and so forth. So with Atiku, I believe now that there is no Buhari and Rufai has fallen out of favor and out of love with Tinubu, then the North are likely to move towards an Atiku. That's my prediction. I may be wrong.
So But okay, you admit that Obi played a role in Atiku not getting it the last time. But
yeah, there's no doubt about that because, like I said, the mood favored the young people thought they had the power to remove the old order. But unfortunately, we all failed collectively, both the old and the young. We both failed.
But as at the time you knew that they were not with Atiku again, but you kept on supporting Atiku when you know that...
I knew that who was not with?
The owners of Nigeria.
No. There was no clear-cut evidence
that they were
no longer with them. Okay, but later, through a source very close to them, I knew that they were supporting Tinubu.
Are these owners of Nigeria with Atiku going up to these elections?
It's too early to say. We haven't even concluded. So let them conclude and formalize the process. Presidential candidate and his running mate submitted to INEC, approved by INEC, then you and I can talk.
So definitely we'll have another session.
Another session, I promise you.
What has Tinubu done not right?
It's a question. The economy of Nigeria. I'm not talking about economic theories. I'm talking about practical economy as it affects you and I. A lot has changed. In about 3 years plus, a lot has changed. And I know these days, even for me to open some messages on my phone, I'm scared. Because everyone is begging. We need this, we need that. And so, on the economic front, I believe he has failed. They can give us all the highfalutin theories of economics, but how it affects you and I is what matters.
So you're saying 50 billion for...
Was your life, if they ask you now, is your life better today than it was 3 years ago?
Obviously not. Obviously not. So you see all those 50 billion IMF part on the back and all those other things do not matter?
No. It matters. But what are we doing with it? Let me tell you, my biggest worry, which is democracy itself, that is on trial in Nigeria and in danger. My biggest problem with Tinubu ever is always profligacy. Outlandishly wasteful. Things we don't need. Trying to live like an American president. I always say it. You can't practice capitalism without capital. That's what we do in Nigeria. We want to live like, yes.
No, but how is it wasteful?
What do you need? Before he became president, he already had like two jets of his own.
So do you think he should use his jet for Nigeria?
No, wait. If you are going to buy a jet for Nigeria, I don't know what is right now. I think it's an A320 or something. Okay. That's not what we need at this time. To convince your people that you want them to tighten their belts, you must first tighten your own belts. In Ovation, as a businessman, I can give you a practical example. When the economy collapsed and things were not moving the way it used to move, I downgraded myself. I used to fly upper class on Virgin Atlantic. I started flying premium just to save some money.
Premium economy.
Premium economy. Just to save some money. I reduced my travels to essentials. I used to travel. I used to gallivant. Everybody calls me Globetrotter. This year, maybe I've been to London only once, January. Before, I used to travel every month, every other month. I go to essential. My last trip to Tokyo, my first son invited me, which is two of his brothers, to come. My other son now has invited me to Paris. So at least I've suffered to send them through education. And so as they make money, they will also say, let our father, our mother, and everybody, let's have. So you must, if you are a leader, the best way to get followership, like Jesus Christ, was for people to trust you with their lives. When Jesus says, come with me into the sea, and they saw him floating, Yes. Then they will follow him. But if he enters and he's sinking, that's why people, can't you see that those who are abusing Tinubu the most today are his own people?
So, but some people will argue that he's also making money, he's increased the revenue for Nigeria. More states are getting more money. Now, why are you people blaming him all the time?
No. You see, Chief Abiola used to say something. If you want to know if a fish is rotting, smell the head. If the head is bad, then the whole body is gone. People look at the man, look, the amount of money available to the president of Nigeria. Forget about the governors. Of course, they take their bad examples from the federal government because, you know, governors are mini presidents in Nigeria. That's why you see that it was so easy for him to collapse all the states and they've all merged with the federal government. It's unprecedented in the history of Nigeria that you will have almost everybody, every governor, every state wearing one cap, wearing, you know.
So for you, it's the economy?
The economy, yes, I mentioned the economy, profligacy, wastage, the suffering of the people. Then, of course, insecurity has never been this bad. I'm 66, approaching 67. So I'm old enough to know and understand the challenges we've encountered in Nigeria before now. But nothing can equal this. And I'm not seeing any sense of remorse or atonement. Everything is, we are doing something about it, we will do something about it. They don't even talk about it. Look, if I was the president of Nigeria, you haven't asked me that question, but I'm telling you, what I will do. Number one, information is power. You must inform the citizenry every day. If you look at even Donald Trump at his age, sometimes you see him standing there at press conferences, he's almost falling asleep, but he's speaking to Americans. Is Tinubu talking to you? How many times has he invited you? In fact, Wike that is managing just Abuja is doing press conference almost every other day. As the president, when was the last time the president went somewhere either to go and console or commiserate with the people? He could not even enter the city. He turned back from the airport. For me, that's not a good sign of leadership.
A lot of people say, is Atiku going to be different at his age?
I can tell you, Atiku Abubakar, I don't follow people sheepishly. You know that I have second address, I have third address, and I walk around the clock. Wake up 2 a.m., call me, you see me. So I have a job. I am not a full-time.
So why are you following?
I'm not a career. That's what I'm telling you.
People have said he has lost constantly.
No, I mean, losing.
For the lack of the word, is some people say he's been a serial loser.
It doesn't matter.
He loses all the time.
People can say there are copious examples in history.
You want to talk about Abraham Lincoln?
No, yeah, why not? Abraham Lincoln will regularly come to mind, but it's not even about Abraham Lincoln. Let me tell you, let him lose on his own terms. Look, I will tell you the things I admire about. If you put a gun to my head, I will tell you what I admire about Atiku Abubakar.
Yes.
Number one is he started business as a young man, because he was desperate to fend for his family. His mother, he lost his father, I think was about 11 years old.
As a businessman?
No, just wait. Well, I don't know. If you can point to the businesses, I would love to know them.
TVC? Telecoms, what's it called? Communications, newspaper. It's one of a big publisher, just like MK Abiola too.
Rufai,
would you count that as a business?
Rufai, you can be cheeky. I'm talking about somebody who started his business. He lost his father at about 11 years old, and he was determined to look after his mother. And he started small scale. And then he got into what I would call civil service, working for government in various capacities. And then he was still able to maintain a business line. There are people like that who just have that business acumen. He left power. The peak of his glory was being vice president of Nigeria. And we saw how his office was managed at that time. Forget about the quarrel between himself, the political brickbats between himself and Baba Obasanjo at that time. Yes. He was able to tell the president of Nigeria, if you think I am corrupt, I'm ready to waive my immunity, take me to anywhere. I'm ready to be investigated, prosecuted. So where's the indictment? It's not just about dropping charges. Oh yeah, when Tinubu was taken to the Code of Conduct Tribunal, a lot of us supported him because we knew at that time it was a political witch hunt. So I don't just drop. The question is, what are the concrete things?
The words Baba said about him in Baba's book.
The same Baba, I can send you the video tomorrow, still spoke about him. I think he has learned his lessons, is this, is that. And I read what Rufai, who everybody believed was also opposed to him, what he said when he said he never interfered in the matters of the privatization process. Look, Ijalode Loridowe. Yes, in the days of trouble, every song becomes a proverb. You understand? So, where I'm going is that this man left power since 2007. He does not control any state. Tinubu controls Lagos, absolutely 100%. His word is law. Atiku does not have one of such states. Atiku has invested heavily in education as one of the greatest institutions I read in Africa, valued internationally as a very serious institution of learning. For me, education is priority. Just like whenever I speak to Peter Obi, he says education is his priority. But education is what brought you and I together. Without education, I won't be sitting down here talking. So, this man has maintained his family, maintained his personal life, invested heavily in Intel. I remember when I visited President Jacob Zuma in 2009, he had great words to say about Atiku. Maybe they were business partners or whatever, but he said the man is a genius. With a Midas touch, and everything he touches becomes gold. And what I also like about him is his comportment in a democracy. Temperament is key. I've now interacted more with him in the last 3 years, and I can comfortably and reasonably assure you that an Atiku will not treat political parties the way Tinubu is doing. He will never. I've never seen a thug in front of his house who will say because Obi is no longer with us, we should go and block him. I've never heard in our strategy
but
section.
But a lot of your people have been abusing him. Kenneth Okonkwo was in your media team, has been saying all sorts of...
No. Kenneth, no. I still spoke to Kenneth yesterday.
Yeah.
Some people even said I abused Kenneth, not me.
Yeah.
Kenneth, I'm a fan of Kenneth, okay? Yeah. Because I'm also in the entertainment industry. And I can tell you, what Kenneth was saying is that he thought they were going to pick a Southeasterner, that the promise to him was they were going to pick a Southeasterner.
But that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying he's been attacking Obi.
No, wait. The obedience who are attacking, they attack everybody who is not supporting Obi.
Yeah.
No, they attack me. Tell me, what's my business? Why anybody will attack me? I've never attacked them. I will say what I like about Obi, and I will say what I don't like. We can't all agree all the time. But to not turn into personal attacks is unfortunate and unfair. So, for me, the obedience, I think they've done great disservice to their principle by being intolerant. That is my view, and I stand by it. So the obedience needs to know that if I personally, I disagree with Tinubu, who is like my big brother, on account of dictatorial tendencies. If I see it in any other candidate, including Atiku, I will speak up against it.
Why are you now touting and saying, no, Atiku is better off? This same Tinubu you're talking about was the only one that gave Atiku a platform to run on when Obasanjo pushed Atiku aside and humiliated him. He ran on Tinubu's platform. A lot of people are asking, is it not the time for Atiku to pay back Tinubu for that favor?
Okay. I think it is always wrong to reduce everything to, somebody helped you when you needed help.
Is that not important?
They needed each other. It wasn't a one-way traffic. People have said that to me. Oh, Tinubu gave you 500 pounds at the time. I said, yes, I was the one who said it. You didn't bring it out of my mouth. I sent it voluntarily. But do you know what I've also done in return for Tinubu since then? In fact, yesterday, I was compiling my archives of pictures and I saw a lot of things. All the work Ovation did on Tinubu, the Boss newspaper, and all that. And I said, wow, if I were to bill for this, it will run into hundreds of thousands of US dollars. But that's not how you measure friendship. Friendship is about telling your friend the truth at all times, even if he will feel hurt, if he will feel disappointed. But ultimately, they will respect you more. Because what I'm telling Tinubu now is what nobody will tell him in his camp, because they are too squeamish to talk to him. They treat him like an egg, who, if you press him too much, might break. No. You must tell him the truth when he's in power. I told Buhari the truth, and Buhari invited me to Aso Rock and asked me daily, what have I done? I told him all the things he did not do well. That is friendship. Your friend must be able to tell you. Because at a time when everything around you is adulation, someone must be able to tell you, sir, that when tomorrow comes, all these people will run away and you'll be left on your own.
So you're saying now that him giving Tinubu giving him a platform then doesn't count for anything?
No, it was not Tinubu's personal property. They formed a party.
Yeah.
So in a party, Tinubu recognized the fact that the man was the most experienced and the most needed person. Did Atiku not step down for MQ Abiola in 1993? They were supposed to make him running mate. He didn't get it. He didn't die. He didn't complain. He didn't lament. Right. And he didn't burn down the roof.
But a lot of people say Atiku keeps on leaving parties when it doesn't favor him. Now he's gone to the ADC. They tried a coalition with Obi that didn't work. If everybody complained about it anyway, Amechi is back with him now. You wanted to be his running mate. So this same Atiku has been up and down, up and down. So is that the same person you want to trust Nigeria with? As against the Tinubu anyway, he's moved from party to party because parties have changed him. That has been very solid, paved the way for a lot of people, and tried once.
No. Tinubu also changed parties.
No, yes, I said parties change. Yeah.
Obi changed parties maybe 3 times in less than 1 year.
Yeah.
There is nothing. Look, Nigerian democracy is still a fledgling democracy. It has not yet reached that stage like Ghana, where if you are in one party, you are in that party till kingdom come. We haven't reached that stage. It will come one day when we will all stabilize, when we have less selfish, less temperamental leaders. Because today, what is causing all this crisis, if Tinubu's people, like we're not shopping around for which party to destroy, I'm sure Obi will still probably be in Labour, Atiku will probably be in PDP, and the others too, maybe Kwankwaso will still be in NNPP. But because
But a lot of people will say Wike did what he did because of Atiku's willingness to not to follow the convention and said it was supposed to be his turn when it was supposed to be the turn of the South.
There is no convention that is superior to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Everything Atiku has ever done is constitutional. And once it is constitutional, you can't challenge it. Okay. If he went against, you said against the convention. If he went against the Constitution, then I'll be alarmed. He never went against.
But he paid dearly for it in the last election because
he did not pay. No, stop ascribing unnecessary power to arrogant leaders. Okay, what happened? So it was Wike that made Atiku to lose election. You believe that?
He didn't win Rivers.
No, forget about it. Is it only Rivers?
He didn't win Oyo. He didn't win all the states that those governors were. Those things count for something. Okay, if Atiku had won Rivers, and won all the states, those governors were won Benue, won all those states.
Why are you ascribing powers to governors who could not win ordinary senatorial seats in their own states? The difference between me and other politicians is that I'm not a career politician, and I will tell you as it is. Which governors are you talking about? Is it Benue that wanted to be a senator? They did not pay dearly for it. Is it Abia that wanted to be a senator and he could not get it? Benue could not get a Senate seat. Abia could not get Senate seat. Enugu could not get Senate seat. So it's a draw. Delivered what?
What if he delivered?
At what cost? What
if Rivers had gone to Atiku?
And then did Wike not want to be vice president to Atiku? Look, I'm telling you.
Tell me about that. He wanted to be vice president.
He wanted and lobbied to be vice president. Quote me anywhere.
He lobbied to be vice president?
He lobbied to be vice president to Atiku. Yes, sir.
Why did Atiku give him?
Because everybody knew that Wike is too cantankerous, Wike is too voluptuous, Wike is too, explosive.
This is your friend, though. You used to be very good friends with Wike.
Yeah, but you must tell your friends the truth. The other day, Amaechi said I was abusing him. He said it in an interview, I think with Chinwo Kibaloye. And I said, no, I didn't abuse you. I only told you the truth. The day will never come when I will not be able to tell my friends the truth because they are in power. It won't happen. I'm 66, going on 67. What am I looking for in life? I'll tell you the truth. The truth of the matter is that today...
So, please, correct me if I'm wrong. Was it because Wike didn't get the vice presidential?
That's why he was fighting. Yeah, that's all. That's all.
So it was not because of the primary?
No.
Because of Tambo.
And Atiku went through that process with Abiola. They told him, step down for Abiola. He stepped down. Did he fight anybody? Look, if you believe in God, you know your time will come. Atiku's time came. He had run to be governor in Adamawa, the old Gongola. And yet, they pulled him out and said, come and be vice president. What will be yours will not escape you.
Okay. You like election patterns, and I also like to map patterns. As we speak today, the pattern I've mapped, please correct me if I'm wrong. I might be wrong. I don't say I know it all. Atiku doesn't have a path to presidency, and let me map it this way. If he does well in the north, which Tinubu will share the vote with him, and Tinubu will definitely get over 25% in most parts of the north. Tinubu will do well in the strongholds in the south. Obi will take majority parts of the southeast. Atiku is left in limbo. The south-south is going to be probably a share, and in all of these places, a scenario happens that Tinubu gets over 25%. There is no path to presidency for Atiku Abubakar. What's his path to presidency?
I think you don't know Nigeria.
Tell me about Nigeria.
There is no part of the north that Atiku will not get 25%. There is none. And we're talking of 19, whether in the north central, northeast, or north.
And President Tinubu will also get 25%.
Wait now.
Okay.
And then he will get majority votes. He's not looking for 25% in those places. He will lock down the entire north. And you see, once people realize that he has a path to victory, a lot of people will migrate to him. The person that will lose out in all this is Peter Obi. That's my projection. So if he gets that 19, and this time he will get 25% in Abuja, in FCT, that's already 20. Locking down for him. Then he moves.
So you're saying he will win in 19 states of the north?
He will win. I didn't say. I said he will first of all get 25% and he will get majority votes. And that's where the voluminous votes come from. They all come from majorly the north, northeast, and northwest. So it will be difficult for anybody. Go and check. Even Rabiu Kwankwaso in the last election, despite being the strong man of Kano, in the entire nation, he had less than 2 million votes.
Yeah, most of the votes came from Kano.
Exactly. So once you get voluminous votes from the north, it will leave the south limping. That's why Tinubu is desperate to make sure that they delete some parties. Okay? Especially because of Atiku. And the north has already played a strategic thing this time. That move is so strategic that they made sure there is no strong leader competing against Atiku in the north. Now Kwankwaso is a running mate. The north will not play second fiddle, just like in the south, they are blaming anybody who is competing against Tinubu as a traitor. It's the same way the North is treating anybody who does not support Atiku as a traitor. So that's number one thing. So that's a different scenario from 2023. So he will then navigate his way to the South. In the South, there is no way he will not compete well in Osun State. There is no way, and that's Tinubu's major.
But that's going to Accord.
No, forget about that now. Accord is gubernatorial. They don't have a presidential candidate. It's gubernatorial.
You think Adeleke will still support?
It's not about Adeleke alone. It's the people. So how will the people favor somebody where already APC people, they are importing thugs and destabilizing the whole place in Osun State? They will go to Oyo. I can tell you whether...
The Makinde is running too.
No, wait now. It will be obvious to his people that he has no path to victory. And it will be obvious to Makinde himself at that stage. And the enemy of your enemy is your friend. Makinde may be forced, unlike last time when he supported Tinubu, may be forced to support Atiku, because Atiku and him, they are talking regularly. And Tinubu has already declared him persona non grata anyway. It tells anybody who cares to listen that he's not friends with Sheyi Makinde. So Osun, Oyo, Ekiti's votes are very small, but every vote counts in this type of election. I believe there is no way Atiku will not get 25%. Go and look at the figures of the last election. You will see how well he did in the South. At that time, when Tinubu was even more popular in the South. Now, every part of the South, I don't see anywhere. Maybe Lagos is the only place Tinubu will struggle to win Lagos, like he did the last time. Though Obi defeated, but I believe Obi's influence has waned a bit. We do not have the NSAS people following Obi in Lagos right now. Ogun State, I'm sure they will get 25% because all the old forces will come together. The Adebutus and all of them. Even a lot of the people that you think are supporting Tinubu today, they are scared that if Tinubu comes back, they will be in danger. A lot of people will pretend because they don't want any trouble. And that's my prediction. In the South, even as bad as it was the last time, you will see Atiku, because Atiku is the only politician who has built that network since 1993 across Nigeria. So his people, his supporters are constant. They are constant as the Northern Star. That's what's going to happen.
So that's your path.
So wait. Okay. So as usual, our brother Peter will dominate the Southeast. But that will not spell danger for Tinubu, because Tinubu is supposed to lock down at least 3 regions before going to struggle in the North. Those 3 regions are Southeast, South-South, and Southwest. With Peter on the ballot, Tinubu will have to struggle. The city boys are going to find it very difficult to make any appreciable inroad into the Southeast. In the South-South, they are all going to split it. Maybe Peter will have an edge. I'll give that to him. He might get 30, 40%, then the others might get 25, 25, thereabout. That is my projection. Then in the Southwest, Atiku will probably come second to Tinubu, while Peter will come third. It's over.
So with this path you just mapped out, how many states do you think you'll take?
Now, who will take?
Atiku will take.
If he takes majority of the North, as I predicted and projected, and is able to compete favorably down South, it's over for Tinubu and Peter.
That's about a 15-state mark?
No, more than. Oh, no. He will get minimum 25, 26.
26 states?
Yes, all he needs is 25% in those states, and then overall
How
majority.
many states do you think he will win with this projection, this mapping?
No, when you say win, what he needs to win is first to do 25%, which is mandatory.
Yeah, so after winning that,
so after winning that, he will win majority of the states in the north, and that's where the votes are. So it's about overall majority. It's no longer, once he can meet that target of 25, minimum 25 states out of 36, I don't see how he will not get it this time. The hatred for Tinubu is unprecedented.
But there are also people that say they love him.
That's normal. But you are looking at majority of the people who are opposed to him right now, including people within his own party. I told you that the last time he won because he was able to do well, courtesy of the support from the north. Now he doesn't have that support. And he doesn't have it in the south. Osun State, where he comes from, his ancestral home, rejected him last time. And I know they will reject him again today. Even if Demola, I know Demola is campaigning for him, Demola believes that as someone from his state, they should support him. That is our own child, so we must support him. That's fine. That is his legitimate right. I've never argued that with him. You understand? But even that, Osun has a knack for going against the run of play.
Yeah, Osun went for Ribadu.
They went instead of Jonathan. That's Osun people for you. Yes.
Yeah. Chief Desmond, I'd like to say very big thank you, bro. Keep watching for greater, exciting guests. And
I promise you I'll be back when you are ready.
Thank you so much. We'll come and do a lecture review again.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bless you all.